Thank you. Senator Marshall.
Well, thank you, Chairman, and welcome to our nominees. My first question is going to be for Judge Vaden. Judge, my family goes back, family farms, 100 years. I think yours are even 100 years older than my family's. And I'd like to think that my great-grandfather, your great-great-great were the original conservationists, that they wanted to leave this world cleaner, healthier, and safer than we found it, just like you and I want to leave it for our future generations, cleaner, healthier, and safer than we found it. I also note, though, that my farmers and ranchers depend upon certain pesticides and fertilizers, and there's a great opportunities, I think, for precision agriculture. We're growing more with less every day. In your office, if confirmed, how can you help defend the crop protection and precision ag tools that our farmers rely upon?
Well, Senator, I thank you for the question, and I really appreciate how you have linked, because I think the linkage is proper, conservation with the scientific advancements and chemicals that make that possible. No-till agriculture was kind of launched in West Tennessee. I grew up going with my father to the Milan No-Till Festival, which still goes on, and was kind of an initial effort at evangelizing this notion that you do not have to plow the field every year, which, as you know, is bad for soil health.
Sure.
But that only becomes possible if you have in your toolkit as a farmer the amazing chemicals that are provided in order to clear the land so that you can plant. And so if you take those chemicals away, what you are doing is you are taking a tool out of the toolkit of the farmer and requiring him to revert, in my view, to the somewhat antiquated plow. That's bad for soil health, and quite frankly, it threatens a lot of the work done by the old Soil Conservation Service and now the Natural Resources Conservation Service to instill best practices in farms, because as you know, if you're destroying the soil, it's the equivalent of eating into your principal to pay living expenses. It's going to bite you very quickly with time. You're destroying your most valuable asset.
Judge, are you committed to help protecting, to make sure the guardrails are loose enough, though, that our farmers do have access to the tools that they need, and again, always with an eye towards conservation?
Exactly. And one of the things that impressed me is how thorough the Environmental Protection Agency is when they study these tools. And the labels that they put on them are quite prescriptive, and they're prescriptive for a reason. It's because we care about the environment and we don't want to do undue harm to them. And so, if confirmed, I look forward to continuing work with other agencies to ensuring farmers have the tools that they need.
Thanks. Let's go to Mr. Clarkson for my next question. Let's talk about the CCC for a second, and it's been used for different purposes. And I was concerned with the last administration that the Secretary of Agriculture used it to promote Green New Deal type of initiatives, which I think feels like to me was outside of the intention of the CCC. Do you think that the use of the CCC by the previous administration was legal? And how do we ensure that the CCC is used for its intended use of supporting farmers and not backing special interest?
Thank you for the question, Senator. I do think that the prior administration's use of CCC required quite a bit of legal creativity that strained the statutory text and practice in a manner that I don't think I anticipate countenancing were I confirmed as general counsel.
Okay, thank you. Let's go back to Judge Vaden and talk about Proposition 12 for a second. Proposition 12 dictates, in my humble opinion, it tries to tell Kansas farmers how to grow pigs, and it's really hard for that small producer. If Kansas or if California has a way, they want us to grow them. If Texas has a way, we want to grow them. If Ohio has the way, we want to grow pigs. It's really hard for my small producers. Is there anything that USDA could do to administratively ensure that certain states are not able to dictate production standards for livestock producers nationwide?
Well, Senator, I'm well aware of the challenge that such state propositions provide to farmers who have to operate in a national market. As you know, when I was general counsel, we were very active in supporting the efforts of those who challenged the proposition. And I'm happy to say those efforts ended up to be bipartisan, because though it's not frequently noted, both the first Trump administration and the Biden administration both opposed in the federal courts Proposition 12 on the grounds of and their belief that it violated the Dormant Commerce Clause. The Supreme Court unfortunately came to a different conclusion, and in the opinion written by the Supreme Court, they basically put it in Congress's hands and said that Congress has the power under the Commerce Clause to stop this if it wants. And so when it comes to any administrative authorities that USDA might have, if any are in existence, they would have to be given us by Congress.
Okay. Let's see here. Mr. Clarkson, would you have anything to add on the comment on the Proposition 12 issue?
Nothing substantively, just that the Office of General Counsel stands ready to help this committee in the event that it wants additional language or technical assistance on a potential fix.
Okay, Judge Vaden, I'll close with my question for you, dealing with our trade deficit, $1.2 trillion trade deficit, for the first time in my lifetime, an agriculture deficit. We're importing more food than we're exporting. You probably are as knowledgeable as anybody in this room is, if not on Capitol Hill, on international trade policies. In your new role, well, what can you do to decrease the international trade deficit, and how will you be promoting strengthening domestic demand for agriculture products?
Senator, I think you hit on it in the verbs you used in your questions. We've got to promote, and that involves a salesmanship activity. I know the Secretary has committed to visiting 6 countries this year in terms of promoting more ag experts. That's important. No one else is going to sell our stuff. We've got to sell it. Secondly, we've got to keep track of foreign trade barriers, whether they be tariff or non-tariff related, and we've got to remind the trade team that as they're out there looking for new trade deals, as they're standing up for other American industries, they need to stand up for American agriculture too and oppose these efforts that are trying to keep our wonderful farmers' products out of the international market.
Great. I look forward to sitting down, having a cup of coffee, and discussing the Canadian milk policy, and you can explain that one to me someday. So thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it.